Would you refuse to help someone change their baby's diaper? Let's grab a pen and paper and get started. Hi, it's Kat Starling, and I like to make doodle videos paired with internet discussion and conversation. So let's unwind, listen, and reflect on some human stories. AITA for refusing to change someone's baby's diaper. My wife and I have been married for 10 plus years and have a few kids. Sister-in-law and her husband had a baby 2 years ago. No major complaints. They just tend to ask people to do stuff that I would think they do themselves. They'll come over to our house, they live an hour away, and they'll ask ahead of time if we have their kids' favorite crackers on hand. Why they don't just pick up the crackers, I don't know. They're well off, money not an issue. If one of them leaves the room, they'll ask one of us, my wife or my kids, to be in charge of the baby, even if the other parent is right there, just scrolling on their phone or something. But whenever I say something to my wife, she says I'm being too much. The other day we were having dinner at mother-in-law's house when the baby had a poopy diaper. Sister-in-law looked at me and said in a sweet voice, "Uncle, my name, can you change the diaper?" She frequently does this when we're there, but this was the first time I was asked. I answered politely, "No, I'm sorry, I don't do that." "You don't do diapers?" "No, I don't do other people's kids' diapers if their mom or dad is around. I mean, if I'm babysitting, sure thing, but yeah, if the parents are around, I just feel like it's their job." Sister-in-law looks like she's ready to cry. Well, I feel selfish. I smiled to try to set her at ease. Not trying to make you feel any way, just telling you a boundary is all. The table got really awkward as she got up and did the diaper. Afterward, my wife blamed me for making sister-in-law feel bad and said I could have just changed the diaper. Not trying to make anyone feel bad, but I have 3 kids and I've always took responsibility. I've watched them, I've packed for them, and I've changed them. I'm not looking to be a second parent for this kid. I find it really annoying when parents do this. Parents foisting the responsibility of their child onto other people when they're the ones who chose to have a kid. It's a parent's responsibility to take care of the fun stuff and the not so fun stuff. Like the sister-in-law asking other people to keep an eye on her kid while the other parent is right there. Or when the sister-in-law and the husband expect OP and his wife to purchase their child's snack foods. No, it really is your responsibility to have the snack foods that you know your kid likes. You don't get to pass along responsibility just because you don't feel like doing it. Changing a kid's diaper is a responsibility that should be given with consideration and not given out so willy-nilly. These parents really should think about the safety of their child and not be willing to relinquish it so quickly. Look, I understand that it takes many people to raise a child, but there are many ways to help out a parent without doing their job for them. Some examples might be taking over cooking dinner, getting the diaper bag, entertaining or distracting the baby with some funny faces, my personal favorite, while the parent takes care of them. Essentially, taking non-parenting tasks off their plate so they can do what their child needs. I don't like how the wife scolded the husband. I mean, it is her sister. I didn't see her jump at the chance to get elbows deep in a poopy diaper. The wife should have not made him feel bad for standing up for himself when what the sister-in-law asked was inappropriate. It is her family, not his. It is her responsibility to resolve the tension created by her sister. It sounds like the wife is used to everyone giving her sister what she wants. And when someone does tell her sister no, the sister gets all pouty about it. OP, you're not being too much, and honestly, your wife sounds like she needs to stand up to her sister. So let's take a look and see what other people had to say in the comments. NTA, sister-in-law only felt bad because the obvious was pointed out to her. You said no when she asked you, and then she pressed you further, trying to either guilt trip you into changing the diaper or make you look bad because you didn't want to change a poopy diaper. Right? She felt guilty. Addressing you as, quote, uncle was supposed to put the onus on you to feel obligated. She sounds like such a user. I think you handled this amazingly well. She sounds like she's not used to anyone saying no to her and setting boundaries. Putting on tears and, quote, being selfish act is manipulation, and it sounds like that works for your wife, not you. Nothing to feel bad about. She sounds like a wannabe princess. Yeah, I don't get why people can't respect the no. She asked you, you said no, and that should have been the end of the story. Wild to me. My mom helps me out at home. Sometimes she will do an occasional diaper if I'm occupied. But even then, we do 90% of the changes. I've never changed anyone's diaper when their parents have been there, including friends' kids. Quote, well, I feel selfish. Laugh of relief. Oh good, I thought I was gonna have to say it. Yeah, I do find it really funny when people try to do this to get their way or make you feel bad for them. But to me, it just sounds like you're telling on yourself. So yeah, sister-in-law, you said it, not me. NTA, it's a reasonable boundary. And if your wife was there was nothing stopping her from offering to change the baby if she didn't want sister-in-law to feel bad. Yes, this. Why is she skipping over her immediate family and asking her in-laws? If you need help and had a long, hard day and maybe just asked your sister, I'd get it to some extent. But making sure brother-in-law has his turn just because? Weird. NTA, if I were not otherwise incapacitated, I would be so embarrassed to ask someone else to change my child's diaper. So does it make you an a-hole for refusing to change a diaper for someone else's baby? No, it does not. And honestly, it was inappropriate to even ask. But what do you guys think? Would you have just changed the diaper, like the wife suggested? Or would you have told sister-in-law no? So let's take a look at the next story I have here for you. Aita for connecting the AirPods after my niece swallowed it to see if it would still play in her stomach. When my 3-year-old niece swallowed my sister's left AirPod, everyone started worrying right away. I was trying to lighten the situation, so I connected the AirPod to my phone and put my ear on her stomach to check if I could hear it. Surprisingly, I actually did hear a little sound coming from inside her, which made the moment a bit funny for me. But the people around us didn't really find it amusing. They looked at me like I wasn't taking things seriously at all. I was just trying to calm the mood, but instead I ended up being the only one laughing while everyone else was still stressing about the AirPod inside her. OP did state in a comment that his niece found it funny too. So I can see what OP's trying to do here. He's trying to make his niece laugh despite the seriousness of the situation. I can also see how the fear and anxiety of the niece's safety really would have overshadowed the humor here. Therefore, it's just wrong place, wrong time. OP sounds like the kind of person who handles stressful situations with humor, and everyone deals with stress in their own way. I don't feel like anyone's at fault in this situation on how they handled it. Unfortunately, if you deal with stress with humor, it can kind of come off like you're not taking the situation seriously enough. It is okay that you handle situations with humor, but something for OP to consider in the future, if something had gone wrong and the AirPod did hurt his niece, OP would have felt so bad. But let's take a look at some of those comments. If anything, I think it's a net positive that you made a 3-year-old laugh when everyone else was acting super concerned. I'd imagine they were all scaring the crap out of her. They wouldn't have waited long. The main problem is the battery, which could have perforated wherever it was placed, and her, which is probably why the family is so tense. They will have to endoscope her or cut her open, which I'm guessing is scaring the family poopless. I can see how the fear of the worst case scenario would have everyone on edge. And the uncle was not thinking about the worst case, he was thinking about calming her down. It wasn't for laughs, it was for science. Had to be done. OP responded, I let my intrusive thoughts win. For science. Peak uncle moment. Well played, sir. OP responded, this moment is easily the best time of my life. Seeing her smile made everything worthwhile. Plus, we shall always have this moment. I'm a parent of 2, and I would have done both to verify she swallowed it and because I would have been ridiculously curious as to whether or not it worked. NaH. I get why everyone else was angry. You made a joke when they were all stressed and worried. On the other hand, this is 100% something me and my husband would do if our kid swallowed an AirPod. We'd have figured out what to do to fix the issue, and then we would have done the test and had a laugh to lighten the mood. OP responded, we had already called the hospital, and they had said an ambulance would be sent. So being that everyone was stressed out, and seeing it was rubbing off on her, I decided to be the playful uncle she knows. Yeah, after you got help for her, I see how your next step in your mind was to keep her calm. OP did confirm in the comments the AirPod was removed using an endoscopy. I think this is an example of everyone's feelings are justified here. Everyone handles stressful situations differently. So at the end of the day, no a-holes here. But what do you guys think? Should he have even risked turning it on? Or was it justified because it made the little girl laugh? So let's take a look at this final story. Aita for making a stink at school and forcing the teacher to change my kid's math grade. My kid, 4th grade, has been struggling in math. It's been an ongoing issue. The whole year, she has been struggling with multiplication and division specifically. It's been a consistent issue, and it got even worse when they moved on to multiplying and dividing multiple digits. We've tried the school's tutoring, but overall she's just not getting it. She doesn't get the method they are teaching. She gets it wrong like 80% of the time. It isn't easier, it's just more steps. Example, multiplying. time. You break up the numbers, draw boxes, then multiply, and then finally you add them all up. I decided to teach her the way I learned, and she understood it. Homework is a million times easier now because she can actually solve the questions. The issue is that my daughter had a math test last week, and she came home upset. She got a 50% even though she got most of the answers right. She missed 2 out of 25, so it should have been 92%. I had a conversation with the teacher, and it boiled down to she didn't use the method shown in class. I pointed out the test just said to show her work and not show a specific method. The teacher basically went too bad, and that if it happens again, it will be a 0. Wow, I really don't like the teacher's attitude here. So no compromise, no wanting this student to succeed, just my way or the highway? Ugh. You suck. I was fed up and went to the principal. I'll admit, I made a big deal because I think it's ridiculous she was penalized for getting the right answer using a different method. It's math. You can solve problems in a lot of different ways. The teacher was brought in. She was forced to change my daughter's score, and they said it wouldn't happen again. She can find the right answer any way she wants as long as she shows her work. The teacher was not happy. My wife thinks I was being a jerk and keeps bringing it up. She says the teacher has other things to deal with and that I went overboard. So my first thought here is this is just 4th grade math. This is a time to spark interest in the fundamentals of math and encourage learning. A time where math should be something everyone can learn. I feel the teacher is getting too serious about following a very specific structure of solving math problems. It is unnecessary to punish those who can't do math a very specific way, especially at such a low level of math learning. The teacher's attitude bothers me. For a 4th grade math teacher, they seem very vindictive and inflexible. There is a better way to talk to a parent and help come to a compromise, instead of just saying she'll just get a 0 if she does it again. That was really rude and dismissive. At that point, OP had the right to push it up to the principal. I don't think the principal would have been so quick to agree with OP if he wasn't right. The grade was changed, and then he was assured that it would never happen again. But let's take a look at some of those comments. I can't do long division the way my nephew has been shown to do it. I have a math PhD, and I can do long division the old-fashioned way. NTA. You did everything the right way. You tried teaching her the way they wanted, and it was just causing more struggles. So you showed her a different way. The test said show your work, which is exactly what she did. You tried talking to the teacher first and got nowhere, so you went to the principal. Clearly the principal agreed with you, so now you have vindication. Not all methods work for everyone, but forcing a kid to struggle that much doesn't make them smarter. It makes them feel less competent and can actually create a lot of anxiety around the subject or testing. Teaching should not be so hardline. You made a reasonable effort and it didn't work, so you found something that did. That's good parenting. Yeah, I really don't understand this teacher's unwillingness to help this child. Yep, it's actually part of the pedagogy to know not everyone learns the same way. Different strokes for different folks. And if a kid feels like they're doing badly compared to others, they might start feeling insecure, think they are the problem, and not try anymore. They will only associate negative feelings with math. OP prevented that and boosted her self-esteem and proficiency at math. I do understand that the teacher is annoyed because she is sticking to a curriculum and a current tried and tested teaching method that may work for most kids, and probably wants to avoid parents dictating how she will teach, especially if other parents find out about OP. Before you know it, she has to teach multiple methods. However, it's absolutely wrong of her to lower the score because it is not the method she wanted her students to use, and even saying next time it's going to be a 0. That is just spiteful, when you know your student did it correctly and albeit differently. It is also important to make an exception for a kid so they can thrive and learn, than being petty because it's not your method. The best math teacher I ever had did teach multiple methods. She loved math, and it came through in her teaching. She never judged, never pressured. She was wonderful, and her class was the start of the end of my, until then, lifelong math anxiety. NTA. If the teacher isn't flexible enough to teach the math using multiple methods, then the teacher is the problem. NTA. It is incredibly dehumanizing and confusing to a child when they are correct, but then penalized because of things like this. Like a good parent, you found a method that is good for her, and you advocated for her. Children should be encouraged to learn things the way they best process, especially when the process garners correct answers and understanding of the concept. Keep an eye on that teacher though. Yeah, that's a good idea, and hopefully your daughter won't have to put up with her for much longer. NTA, I'm a math teacher and I read this title fully expecting to say YTA, but your daughter showed her work in a logical, consistent manner. It's not like she was just lucking her way into the right answer without being able to demonstrate her understanding. The teacher sounds like they're either petty or they don't understand the other method and don't want to admit it.
Correct.
I feel the father did everything right here. He stuck up for his daughter when she needed it. Honestly, I think this will provide a lot of confidence for her in the future. Now she knows that she can fight for her education. I hope that OP keeps on fighting for his daughter. So what do you guys think? Do you think he was over the top, or was he just being a good dad advocating for his daughter? I think reading people's stories and experiences is a great opportunity to have discussions about human interaction and emotion. I enjoy doodling because it's easily accessible and I find them calming. I would also like to read some human stories that are not on Reddit, so if you feel inclined, you can find my email link below. I hope you found the doodles calming and the stories interesting. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear from you. And hey, if you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching till the end. I look forward to reading your guys' thoughts. See you in the next one. Bye!